Hello everybody, Betch Tribe here, and today I'll be doing a deck list and deck test. So for this deck, I have to give credit to a YouTube channel. I don't remember the name, I just saw it and was like, give me. So if you find whoever the original creator is, send him the thanks. I have minor changes, but overall it is generally the same deck. So I'll be going through card by card, from most important to probably least important. The most important card for this strategy is Scolipede. Thanks to Venoshock, it does more damage when an active Pokemon, the opponent's anyways, is poisoned. So everything else in the deck is trying to get the opponent's Pokemon poisoned. So another important card, at least for this line, is Whirlipede. Now, usually you want to try to get to the final evolution as fast as possible because it usually has the best ability. But Whirlipede's important because it is one of our two poisoning Pokemon. So sometimes it is good if you already have a Scolipede to just keep a Whirlipede around, to just like send it in, poison, pop back out. The Scolipede comes in and does a bunch of damage. Next is the Weezings. I'm not using the new Weezings, I'm using the old Weezings because of Gas Leak. Just because of Gas Leak. It's just like we want to poison, so that's the only thing we really care about. And we are using the new Coughings. This is so that we can get a Coughing from our deck to our bench without having to use a Pokeball. It's good if you're like got nothing and you just have one Coughing. It can get him out. Next we'll go into the items. The most important is Pokeballs. It's an auto include as well as with Professor's Research. But the next item I chose is Potion. This is a personal choice. I like to have a healthy Pokemon. For especially Scolipede and Whirlipede, you wanted to keep them alive so that they can be used. Next, on to trainers, we have Professor's Research. This is mandatory. Just good plus-up card. Next is Leaf. Most of the Pokemon, excluding Weezing, in this deck require one or mostly two to retreat. So Coughing, Whirlipede, Scolipede, all of them require two to retreat. So in a situation where you can, need to retreat out, and X speed won't cut it, so Leaf is probably better. And for Weezing, you're not going to want to use or to retreat with a Weezing anyways. You're going to use Koga for that. Koga is just to bounce it in your hand. It's a good combo piece. Like you have an active Weezing and a Scolipede in the back who's ready to go. You will Gas Leak, place down Koga, and then Scolipede to the front just to do, maximum amount of damage. That's the deck list. But next, I'll be taking it out into the field to show you how it works. Alright, so for this, we're going to be fighting a Koya. It's going to be a grass deck with... I don't think we ever got to really see the major game plan like any EXs, so I'm just going to go under the assumption that it was either a Celebi deck or just some grass toolbox they put together. I draw a Coughing and a Weezing, so I already have the setup. I also have a Whirlipede, a Koga, and a Leaf. They open up the Mushroom guy. Can't remember the name. I immediately draw a Pokeball. I get the Venipede, which is really good. It puts me in a great situation to just immediately set up on my opponent. So I pass the turn, knowing fully well that I'll have a Weezing next turn. It goes to him. He's got an alright card advantage. He sets down a Snivy, probably trying to fish for that superior. He will not get it this match. He puts his energy on the Mushroom guy and hits me for 20. Pretty basic opening so far. I draw another Koga, which is, nice. I put down the Weezing. I put the energy on the Weezing. I evolve the Venipede into a Whirlipede. Gas Leak, tackle into his Mushroom guy. So far, the match is going really well for me. He is as dead as they come next turn, as far as I knew at this current time. But when he gets his turn, he places down a Bulbasaur and evolves into bigger Mushroom with Sleep. He does do a lot more damage, and this does put a wrinkle in my plans. But he immediately goes for the Sleep, and I immediately just duck out of the Sleep check, and then it comes back to me, and I get that Scolipede. There's a little bit of a problem here where I'm behind, so I have to get this wheezing out because he will get the chaos. So I gas leak before I leave. Always make sure to gas leak. It doesn't take up your turn. It will just, you need it for this deck. So I immediately Koga, put my wheezing back in my hand, place down the coughing, and now the wheezing is ready for next turn. I just gotta hope that I don't get sleep checked here. It goes back to him. He begins to set up. He's taken a bit here, but I'm pretty sure he starts to set up the Bulbasaur here. Uh, he's planning on sending them out. If I have to imagine, this would be a Ivysaur deck, and he's trying to, get it. And I'm put to sleep here, and the check matters. But again, RNGesus just, really taking some great choices, picking me to win this battle. I place back down the wheezing. I attach another energy to my Scolipede, and I place down the coughing I just got. This is to keep people from using red cards. I try to place as many of the basics as I can, just to stop and lower down the value of using a red card to try to dissuade opponents from, coming at me with it. He sends up the Bulbasaur after I get the KO on Big Mushroom. He sets it up. He's going to do a bit of damage here, and it's going to pass over to me. I can't remember my exact thought process on this turn, but we're just going to, we're just going to figure it out together. I evolved the coughing. I place the energy on the first wheezing I put down, and then I just kind of pick up the KO here. I'm basically set to win if he doesn't evolve that Snivy, but even then he won't be able to do any damage to me. So I'm kind of just hoping to steer my way into victory. There are a couple things he could do. Obviously, he could have more cards. He could Sabrina me here, try to buy time. But I don't know. Going into this next turn, what his plan. He's taking a while. He's kind of pondering. He's got a lot of cards in his hand, so I have to assume he has something to make a play. But no basics. I'm assuming my opponent's bricked at this point, kind of searching for an answer. Because again, he's taking a while. He's trying to think through his turn here. And he's just waiting. At this point, I've won. I've realized I've won. Even after the professor's research, he does nothing. So I just take the game here. I try to wrap it up as fast as possible, but he does take a bit of time. And I'm going to do something in this video that is unnecessary, kind of a time waster. I attach an energy to the wheezing. I try to attach energies even if I'm winning that turn, just as a good habit thing. He concedes, I take the W here. This is a good example of just a good win. Okay, next match. So we match up with a, can't pronounce that, and it's going to take a bit to load. This is an example of a bad matchup. They're playing a fighting deck, so I'm going to try to do my best here. We open up a Venipede, Scolipede, Pokeball, Leaf, and Koga. They open up a Chatot and a Geodude. My initial game plan here is to try to make that Chatot's move as least appetizing as possible. Try to place as much of the stuff, get to a lower level. My main goal is to get below 4 cards, which we will have next turn. So I Professor's Research, Pokeball, just begin clearing out my deck. By the end of it, I have all the basics on the field. This is the makings of a, good opening. I do blow it here, though, and we'll see that when we pass the turn. He keeps the Chatot out. He does his own Professor Research. I assume that probably got him the Graveler or Golem. He's going to be playing later in this game. He gets Pokeball as well. He would get a Hitmonlee from this. This Hitmonlee is the bane of my existence this match, and shows why targeting the back row is really good. We pull a Weezing here. This is when I get a devious plan to Leaf and then retreat the Venipede to send out the Weezing. This is a good play most of the time. Just put pressure. My Venipede is not going to become a Whirlipede anytime soon, so as far as I know, this is the right play, and it is probably the play you should all mimic in similar situations. But I pick up a lot of damage. He's gonna die next turn. Uh, his chat out anyways. His Hitmonlee is still back there, same with his Geodude, but I am none the wiser as of yet. He will leave to get his chat out of the field though. This is bad, as they would say in the business, mostly for me and my general sense of hope and such. His Hitmonlee will immediately go for one of my Venipedes in the background, which is 60 health. It will take him 2 turns to knock out my Venipede. So I start to try to think of a solution, and my solution is let him have it. This is a bad choice, as you will see. Sometimes you just got to make that choice. There's no getting out of it, but it was definitely not the right call in the situation just to let him kill my Venipede, but I don't think I could have done anything. He begins setting up that Geodude in the background, which I will soon come to realize is a danger to me. He picks up the kill on the Venipede. This turn I'll be getting my own kill on his Hitmonlee. It still seems pretty close. I draw the Whirlipede, which is, we're big business now because I'm going to have that Scolipede by the start of my next turn. He's still building up that Geodude in the background, and I'm still not paying attention to it. Hitmonlee is dead, thank God. That it will cost me that game just to let Hitmonlee do what he wants, but as far as I know right now, I'm still fighting for it. I'm again fighting against my weakness, which is weaknesses don't help this situation, but this was a very winnable game that I kind of just let my opponent beat me in. It was definitely an uphill battle, but weaknesses aren't everything. I could have very much won this battle if I had chosen some different series of events. I pick up another Scolipede, which is probably the worst draw possible. I evolved this Whirlipede into a Scolipede, immediately going for the knockout on the chat. I don't even bother to gas leak, it's a waste of time. This will mean his Graveler is at 3 energy, coming into 4. So I then realized my mistake. If I had realized earlier, I could have tried something. I don't have a Sabrina, but there was probably a different series of events I could have gone through. Maybe have the Venipede out earlier, such and such. But I was playing calm and collected, try to buy me as much time as possible. So he has the Golem now, and he has a Brock, which is just like a free energy. And he begins setting up another Geodude in case I have a bad situation in front of me. And he just continues to press me. I have nothing right now that can win, but I have an idea of I'm going to try to get a Weezing here. Just hope for a Weezing, and then play the Koga to bounce it back to hand with the now superpowered Venoshock. I get a Professor's Research, which is a good sign. It allows me to dig further into my deck. But I then realize that I cannot win this because by using Professor's Research, I can't use Koga. So I try to get the Weezing. I do get the Weezing, but at that point, it's already over. You can see me debate clicking to concede, but I like to give the opponent the final say. It's just a nice thing to do. And this is my last turn. I kind of just continue to go through the motions at this point, but he is functionally won. 0 damage. Sad to see it. And he just wraps it up from here. Obviously, he just nukes me, lays me out. It was a pretty close match, but there were mistakes, and yeah, that's about it. And for the final point, he gets the win. I hope these were good examples of situations for this deck. Bad ones, good ones, and such. My overall view of the deck is it's got a lot of great potential. With Mewtwo being the biggest thing right now, arguably, I think this will stick around as a good, cheap budget deck for free-to-play players who are trying to get their emblems, with consecutive wins or those events. A couple problems I do notice is that sometimes I feel like we're lacking in like control. This deck list is pretty packed as is. I don't think there's much you can swap out. Maybe the potions for Sabrina's, but I think this is already trainer heavy as is. Maybe you could swap out one of the Leafs for Sabrina. Uh, it could use some work, and I bet in the next set a better Dark deck will come to replace it. But as of right now, I think this is probably going to be the best Dark deck in the format. Uh, so that is all for today. I hope you all have a nice day, and see you next time.